Let's solve this managerial economics question together. So the question says that use appropriate diagrams to explain the effects upon equilibrium price and quantity sold if the following changes occur in a particular market. So we are going to start with A. So the A says that the price of a substitute good in consumption increases. So A, the price of a substitute in consumption increases, right? Yes, increases. So they are saying that we should use diagrams to explain the effects on the equilibrium price and quantity if the price of a substitute in consumption increases. All right, so now let's first understand what a substitute is. When we say a substitute in consumption, that's what they said in consumption. So when you say a substitute in consumption, it means that for consumers, you can use those two products in place of the other. You get it? So if you don't have this, you can use the other. So an example is, let's say, cowbell and needle. If you go to the market and there's no cowbell, you can buy needle as well. You'll be able to use it for whatever you want. If it's tea, you'll still be able to make the tea. If it's gari, you'll still be able to make it. You get it? So that's an example. They are saying the price of a substitute increases. So now we have to ask ourselves the effect or what is going to happen. So the effects. Now, if you want to answer these questions easily, just use two substitutes. You get it? And just use it to answer the question. So me, anytime I see a question like this, I think of two substitutes, which are cowbell and needle. You can also think of any other thing. So now we are seeing that the price of a substitute increase. So ask yourself, if the price of needle increases, what will happen to cowbell? If the price of needle increases, obviously people are going to buy cowbell because they can use it for the same thing. And the other one is more expensive. Do you get it? So if needle increases, people are going to buy cowbell because now cowbell is more affordable. So this is going to lead to an increase in demand. So an increase in demand for the particular commodity. Why? Because now the other one, which you can use in place, has increased. So you're now going to shift to the one that you're talking about, which is your particular good or good X. So now it's going to lead to an increase in demand. All right, so now they said we should draw a diagram for the equilibrium price and quantity. All right, so now in drawing a diagram, we draw our Y axis and our X axis. And our Y axis is always our price. So this is price. You can make it P, and this is quantity. You get it? Then we draw an X. Then the one that goes down is the demand. So you can make it D0. And the one that goes up is the supply. You can make it S0. And now we said that when the price of a substitute in consumption increases, it leads to an increase in demand. You get it? And this is the demand line. And I told you from the previous video that increase always comes to the right, decrease is to the left. You get it? So if there was a decrease, it would have been at this side. But this is an increase in demand. So you go to the demand line, then you draw another line at this side, the right. So you can draw something like this, showing a new demand. Then you can label it D1, showing that this is the new demand. You get it? Now we find our equilibrium. So this is our old equilibrium where the SO and DO intersect. Do you get it? This is our old one. Then you can draw short dashes from the old one. This would be your quantity. You can make it K0. Then from the old equilibrium, you can make here P0. You get it? So here is E0. This is the old equilibrium. Then now we go to the new equilibrium where the new demand intersects the supply. You get it? So that one is here, D1 and S0. So this is our new equilibrium. You can label it E1. Then draw short dashes from the new equilibrium to touch the quantity. And this will give you K01. Then you also draw short dashes from the new equilibrium to touch the price as well. And that will give you P1. So now what is the observation? You can draw arrows as well. So from Q0 to Q1, you draw the arrow from Q0 always, then it points to Q1. So it's pointing to Q1 like this. Then from P0 to P1, it goes to the top. You get it? So now what's our observation? So price increases and quantity also increases. You get it? So you can write the conclusion. Price increases and quantity increases as well. You get it? So we are done with the A. So this is how you do it. Now let's move on to the B. Let me clean the board so that we do the B together. Now we move on to the B. The B says that it is widely publicized that consumption of the good is hazardous to health. Hazardous means that it's dangerous. Do you get it? So now, just take yourself as an example. If you've been buying the products for a very long time, and all of a sudden you switch on your television, you tell you that this good is dangerous to your health. What are you going to do? You're not going to buy it again. Why? Because you care about your health. So this will lead to a decrease in demand. You get it? So you write the effects. So the effect is that there's a decrease in demand. You get it? So now we can draw our equilibrium. So we draw our y-axis and our x-axis. And our y-axis is always our price. Our x-axis is our quantity. Then we draw our x. So the one that goes down is the demand. We make it D0. The one that goes up, we make it S0. Then where they intersect is our equilibrium. Since this is our old equilibrium, we can make it E0. Then we draw short dashes from the equilibrium to touch the x-axis. Then we label it Q0. Then we draw short dashes from the equilibrium to touch the y-axis. Then we label it P0. So this is our old equilibrium. Now we are come to look at the events that occurred. So there was a widely publicized news that consumption of the good is hazardous to health. And we said that it will lead to a decrease in demand. And I say that decrease always comes to the left. Do you get? So this is the demand. So decrease will come to this side. So it's going to be somewhere here. You can label it D1, showing that it's a new demand. Then where the new demand and the supply intersects. So this is D1 and this is supply. So they intersect somewhere here. You get it? Then we draw short dashes from the new equilibrium, which is here. Here becomes our E1, our new equilibrium. So you draw short dashes from there to touch the x-axis. Then you label it K1, showing that it's a new equilibrium quantity. And draw short dashes from there to also touch the price. Then you label it P1, showing that it's a new price. Then now we can draw the arrow. So you can draw the arrow from Q0 facing K1, and it goes to the left, showing that it's decreasing. If we also draw an arrow from P0 to P1, it goes down, showing that it's decreasing. So what's the conclusion? So we can conclude. So conclusion. So you can say price falls or price reduces and quantity also reduces. So you can just say price or both price and quantity decrease or fall or reduce. Do you get it? So that's it for the B. Now I'm going to move on to the C. So the C says that consumers' income increases. Consumers' income increases and the good is normal and cost-reducing technological change takes place in the industry. All right, so this one, there are two events occurring. So the first one is that consumer income increases. So first event, consumer or consumers' income increases. And this one, what will happen? So if consumer income decreases and the good is normal, when we say a good is normal, it means that when the income rises, the person buys more or quantity demanded also increases. You get it? So when the income goes up, they buy more. Or when they get more money, they buy more. You get it? All right. So now if the good is normal and you are seeing the consumer income increases, it means that this will lead to an increase in demand. Because now they said that your income has increased, meaning that you have more money, so you can purchase the normal good. You get it? So consumers' income increasing leads to an increase in demand. Now the next activity that is occurring is a cost-reducing technological change. So cost-reducing technological change. What does this mean? It means that now technology has become cheaper or the cost has reduced. You get the cost on technology has reduced. And if that's reduced, what does that mean? It means now the suppliers will be happy because they're not going to spend a lot of money on technology. You get so this is going to lead to an increase in supply. An increase in supply. Because now the cost of your production has reduced. And we know that when cost of production reduces, this leads to an increase in supply. But now there is a problem. Usually for these questions, they will tell you which one has a greater impact, and that will guide you on how you should draw the diagram. But this one, they didn't tell us. So if they don't tell you, you have to draw 3 diagrams. You have to draw the first diagram showing that the first one has a greater impact. Then you have to draw the second diagram showing that the second one or the second event has a greater impact. Then the third diagram showing that they both have equal impact. Since they didn't specify, you have to draw all of them. If you draw just one, it means you are making assumptions. You're assuming that, oh, this one has a greater impact than the other, or they are the same. But since they didn't tell you, you have to draw the 3 diagrams. So let's draw the first diagram. So the first diagram we're about to draw, we're going to assume that the increase in demand has a greater impact than the increase in supply, meaning that the consumer's income increasing has a greater impact than the cost reducing technological change. Do you get it? So first diagram. So we already know that right now there are 2 situations at hand. There's an increase in demand and an increase in supply. So the first one, you're going to assume that the increase in demand is greater than the increase in supply. So I can just say, okay, so increase in demand is greater than supply. So I'm just using the greater than sign to show that it's greater because of space, but you write the full thing. So the first, you are going to assume that the increase in demand is greater than the increase in supply. So let's draw a diagram for it. So you draw our y-axis and our x-axis. So here is our P, here's our price, and here is our quantity. Then we draw our x. So here is the old demand. We label it as D0. Label here as S0. The where they intersect is our old equilibrium. So label it as E0. Do you get it? Then draw short dashes from the E0 to touch the x-axis. Then label it as Q0. Then draw short dashes from the E0 to touch the y-axis. Then label it as P0. So P0. Do you get it? So now let's look at the event that occurs. So you said that for the first diagram, we're going to assume that the increase in demand is greater than the supply. You get it? It means that the line between the demands should be greater than the lines between the supply. Yet we know that we're going to draw for both of them, but the ones in between or the demand line should be greater. You get? So right now there's an increase in demand, so you have to make sure that the space in between the demand lines is great. So you already know that increase goes to the right. Do you get it? So you label here as D1. Now you draw the line for the increase in demand. That's this side. But we also have to draw the line for the increase in supply. So the increase in supply has to be, the line for the increase in supply has to be small. Do you get it? Because the demand has to be greater than the supply, meaning that the space in between has to be greater. For the increase in supply, we are going to draw it just small, closer to it. Do you get it? Then that would be our S1. So this one is our S0. Then the one we just drew is our S1. Do you get it? Then where the new supply and the new demand intersect is our new equilibrium. So anytime you draw 2 lines where the new ones intersect, that's the equilibrium. Do you get it? So now we draw short dashes from U1 to touch the x-axis, then label it Q1. Then we also draw short dashes from E1 to touch the y-axis, then label it P1. Do you get it? So now we can draw arrows. So from Q0 to Q1 is going to this side, showing that there's an increase in quantity. Then from P0 to P1 is going to the top, showing that there's an increase in price. So now you can conclude. So conclusion, price increases, the price is going up, so price increases. Price increases and quantity increases. Do you get it? So this is when we assume that the increase in demand is greater than the increase in supply. Now let's do for the other one. So now we're going to assume that the increase in supply is greater than the increase in demand. You get it? So second diagram. Let me do it somewhere here. So second diagram. So let me just do it. Supply is greater than demand. But you write increase in supply is greater than increase in demand because of space. That's why I'm doing it like this. So for that one to we draw our y-axis and our x-axis. So our y-axis is the price, our x-axis is the quantity. Then we draw our x. Then where they intersect is the equilibrium. So label it E0. Then you draw short dashes from the equilibrium to touch the quantity line. Then label it Q0. You also draw short dashes from the equilibrium to touch the price line. Then label it P0. Then now we are saying that the increase in supply is greater than the increase in demand. So let's now draw the increase in supply. We already know that this is the demand. So D0, this is supply, S0. So now there's an increase in supply. That one has to be greater. So the line in between the supply has to be greater. Then label it S1. Then our increase in demand as well, but that one has to be smaller. You get it. Then we label it D1. Then where S1 and D1 intersect, that is here. That's our new equilibrium. So you label it E1. Then just short dashes from E1 to touch the quantity line. Then label it Q1. Then you also draw short dashes from E1 to touch the price line. Then label it P1. Then now from Q0 to Q1 is going to this side. Then from P0 to P1 is going to this side. You get it. So now our conclusion. Here price falls. So price, you can say price decreases and quantity increases. So unlike here where price increase and quantity increase, here price rather decrease and the quantity still increases. So it tells you that the quantity increases for all, but then the price, it depends on which one has greater impact. You get it. Then the last one we're going to draw is when we assume that they both have equal impact. You get it. So third diagram. So I can make it equal impacts. You get it. All right. So I'll draw my demand and supply line as usual. So here is my price, here is my quantity. Then I draw my x, and where they intersect is my equilibrium, which is E0. Then I draw short dashes from E0 to touch the x-axis, and I label it Q0. Then I also draw short dashes from E0 to touch the y-axis and label it P0. You get it. So now, since you're assuming that they have equal impact, you already know that there's an increase in demand and increase in supply. But now I'm going to assume that they both have equal impact. So you have to make sure that the lines in between are almost the same or they are the same. So you can even use a ruler to, do that, but you can also just estimate. Do you get it? So now, this one, we already know that this is the demand. So D0 and S0. So now there's an increase in demand. So increase in demand will come to this side. Then label it D1. So the increase in supply, I have to make sure that it's almost the same as the space in between. So that one, I might not get it perfect, but at least it should be similar. So it should be something like this. This would be S1. You get it. So you realize that the spaces in between are similar. At least they should be almost the same. All right. So where S1 and D1 intersect, which is here and here, is our new equilibrium. So you can label it E1. You get it. Then I draw short dashes from E1 to touch the quantity line, then I label it Q1, showing it's my new equilibrium quantity. Then I draw short dashes from E1. I have to make sure that it touches the price. Do you get it? So you realize that from E1, when I drew the short that it was touching the price, you realize that for that one, the price remains the same, but the quantity rather increases. So quantity moves to the right, so it increases. So conclusion. So you can say price remains the same, or price remains and the quantity increases. Do you get it? So when we assume that the increase in demand is greater than the supply, realize that the price increased, but the quantity also increased as well. The second diagram, when we assume that the supply is greater than the demand, the price decreased, but the quantity still increased. And the last one, when we assume that they both have equal impact, realize that the price was the same, but the quantity increased. So the price or the position of the price depends on which one has greater impact. That's what the diagram is just trying to tell you. I hope you understand. Now let's move on to the D. So the D says that the price of a substitute good in production increases, and consumers expect that the price of the good will increase in the future. So here too, there are two events occurring, right? So the first one is that the price of a substitute good in production increase. So the first event, price of substitutes in production increases. So this is the first event. Now, when we say a price of substitutes in production, this is not in consumption, this is in production. So here we are looking at it from the producer's point of view. You get it? It means that two commodities that you can use the same resources to make. So if let's say you have a farm and you can use a farm to cultivate two products, maybe rice and maize, then it means for you they are substitutes in production. Do you get it? Because instead of producing rice, you can produce maize. Do you get it? So when you can use the same resources you have to produce two products, then we say that they are substitutes in production. Do you get it? So now they are saying that the price of substitutes in production increases. What does this mean? It means that now let's assume you have a farm, right? And you can produce rice and maize on the farm. So let's say 50-50. Now they are saying that the price of a substitute in production has increased. So usually this is how you produce, but now they are saying that maize, so which is a substitute, you can produce rice, but now they are saying let's say the substitute, which is maize, has increased, or the price of maize has increased. Now, as a farmer, what are you going to do? You are going to produce more of maize. So instead of producing 50-50, you're either going to the maize, you're going to produce more. So it's going to be something like this. Do you get it? Since now the price of the substitute, which is maize, has increased. So what would that mean? It means you're going to reduce the number of rice that you're going to cultivate because the other one will give you more revenue. So this will lead to a decrease in supply of the particular commodity you are, producing. Why? Because now the other one will give you more revenue because they said the price, where is it? The price of a substitute good in production increases. So the price of the other one has increased. Do you get it? So the one that you've been producing, you are going to reduce that one. So this will lead to a decrease in supply. All right, now the next one, so let me clean the board. The next event that was occurring is that they said that consumers expect that the price of the good will increase in the future. So consumers expect price to increase. Now just take yourself as an example. If you expect the price of something to increase, what are you going to do? You're going to buy more now. So that when it increases, you already have some, so you don't need to pay more. So this will lead to an increase in demand. Increase in demand. Do you get it? So now we know that the two events, one of them will lead to a decrease in supply and the other one will lead to an increase in demand. So that's where our focus is on now. But also for this one, so they didn't tell you which one has a greater impact. So as usual, we'll have to draw three diagrams. So the first diagram is that the decrease in supply is greater than the increase in demand. So decrease in supply is greater than the increase in demand. So we're assuming that the price of substitute in production increases. When it increases, the effect is greater than the consumer's expectation of the price increase. That means the decrease in supply is greater than the increase in demand. You get it? So now let's draw a diagram for it. So as usual, we'll draw our y and x axis. Then here will be our price. Here will be our quantity. Then we draw our x. This is our demand, supply. The way they intersect is the equilibrium, so E0. Then from the E0, we draw short dashes to touch the quantity, label it Q0. Then here too is our P0. Then we said there's a decrease in supply and an increase in demand, but now you assume that the decrease in supply, the effect is greater than the increase in demand. So the decrease in supply, decrease comes to the left, so it's greater, so the line in between has to be big. You get it? So this is our S1. We assume that the decrease in supply, the effect is greater than the increase in demand. So the increase in demand will has to be smaller. So increase in demand comes to this side. So it's going to be something like this. So we label it D1. You get it? Then where S1 and D1 intersect, that's a here, right? Then this is our new equilibrium. So you label it E1. Then you just short dashes from E1 to touch the quantity line. Then label it Q1. Then we just short dashes from E1 to touch the price as well. Then label it P1. So what do we observe? So for price from P0 to P1, it goes to the top. Quantity for Q0 to Q1, it goes to the left. You get it? So for our conclusion, we can say that price increases and the quantity decreases. You get it? So price increases and quantity decreases. You get it? So that's when we assume that the decrease in supply has a greater impact than the increase in demand. Now let's do for the other one. When we assume that the increase in demand has a greater effect than the decrease in supply. So now we are going to assume that, so second diagram. So now the increase in demand is greater than the decrease in supply. You get it? So now we also draw our y and x axis. So our y-axis is our price, our x-axis is our quantity. Then where they intersect is the equilibrium. So where the x intersects the equilibrium. So label it E0. Then just short that says here's our Q0. Then here's our P0. You get it? Then now we are seeing that the increase in demand is greater. So this is our demand, D0, S0. So if the increase in demand is greater than the decrease in supply, so the line between the demand has to be great. So this is an increase in demand, so it's great. So it has to come somewhere here. This is our D1. Then the decrease in supply, this is supply, the decrease has to be here. So that one has to be smaller. You label it S1. Then where D1 and S1 intersect is our new equilibrium. So you can label it E1. Then just short dashes from E1 to touch the quantity and label it Q1. Then short dashes from E1 to touch the price as well. Then label it P1. So P0 to P1 is moving up. Then Q0 to Q1 is moving to the right. So for the conclusion, we can say that both price and quantity increase. Because the price is going up, the quantity is going to the right. So conclusion, both price and quantity increase. Do you get it? Right, so now we are done with the second diagram. So we now move to the third diagram, which is when we assume that both have equal impact. You get it? So let me do it at this side. So third diagram. So equal impacts. So that one, the increase in demand and decrease in supply, they both have equal impact. So now we draw our y and our x-axis. So the y-axis is the price, the x-axis is the quantity. Then we draw our x. So this is our demand, this is our supply. The way they intersect is our E0. Then we draw short dashes to touch the quantity from the E0 and label it Q0. Then draw short dashes to the price and label it P0. You get it? Then now we are seeing that the increase in demand and decrease in supply have equal impact. So increase in demand will come here. So this is D1. Then the decrease in supply will come here. So it has to be the same space between them. So let me just estimate it to be somewhere here. So this will be S1. So you realize that the space in between are almost the same. You get it? So where S1 and D1 intersects, that's here. So that's our new equilibrium. So E1. Then we just short dashes from the E1 to touch the quantity. And realize that it will be touching the Q0, so the same quantity. Then we just short dashes from the E1 to touch the price too. Then this will be our P1. So P0 going to P1, there is an increase. So you can see there's an increase in price and the quantity is the same. Because you realize that from E1 to the quantity, you are still going to touch the quantity. So you have to draw it in such a way that the quantity will remain the same. Do you get it? So for the conclusion, so let me write the conclusion here. Let me write it here. So I can see price increases, but the quantity remains the same. So I can just write quantity remains. I hope you guys can see. But then just know that the price is going up and the quantity remains the same. You get it? So now we are done with the D. Let's move on to the last one, which is the E. Now let's move on to the E. So the E says that the price of a complement good in consumption increases and the price of inputs used to produce the good increases. All right, so now there are two events. So the first one is that the price of a complement good in consumption increases. So price of complements in consumption increases. So now when we say a complement in consumption, it means that this one, I'm looking at it from the consumer's point of view, since they said consumption. So complement means that they go hand in hand. So you can use them together. So you can take an example. Let's say car and fuel. I mean, if you have a car, you're going to put fuel in it eventually, you get it. So now let's say, now we know that the two complements you have is car and fuel. So let's assume that the price of fuel goes up. What do you think will happen? A lot of people will not buy cars because when they buy the car, at the end of the day, they have to put the fuel inside. You get it? So this will lead to a decrease in demand for cars. You get it? So it will lead to a decrease in demand. All right. So now the second event that was happening was that they said, and the price of inputs used to produce the good increases. So price of inputs increases. So when the price of inputs increases, what happens? It means that now, if you're a seller and the price of input, it means your cost now goes up. You get, and when your cost goes up, you won't be motivated to sell because you're going to make less profit. If let's say, you are operating a restaurant, right, and you buy, let's say, cassava for 50 cedis, and use it to prepare food or something. Now you go and they say cassava is now 80 cedis. You have to buy it and use it to cook. So now your profit is going to go down. So you won't be motivated to sell a lot. So this will lead to a decrease in supply. Decrease in supply. So you just need to know that anytime price of input increases, it leads to a decrease in supply. When you see price of inputs, cost of input, and all that, when they increase, it leads to a decrease in supply. So now we can draw a diagram for it. And since they didn't tell us which one has greater impact, we have to draw 3 diagrams. You get it? So the first diagram is that we are going to assume that the decrease in demand is greater than the decrease in supply. So decrease in demand is greater than decrease in supply. All right, so now if you are assuming that the decrease in demand is greater than decrease in supply, so we'll draw our y-axis and our x-axis as well. And the y-axis is our price, the x-axis is our quantity, right? Then we draw our x. This is our demand, this is our supply, then this is our equilibrium, and this is our K0, and this is our P0, right? Then now we are seeing that the decrease in demand is greater than the decrease in supply. So this is demand. A decrease will come here. Since you are saying it's greater, the line has to be big. So it's going to be something like this, D1. Then the decrease in supply. So the decrease in supply will come here, but it has to be smaller than this. So you are going to get something like this. So something like S1. You get it? So where S1 and D1 intersect, this is S1, this is D1. So they intersect somewhere here. So this will be our new equilibrium. Then just short dashes from E1 to touch the quantity line. Then you label it K01. Then just short dashes from E1 again to touch the price line. Then you label it P1. So what do you realize? From P0 to P1, you are going down. Then from Q0 to Q1, you're also going to the left. So the conclusion is that since price is going down, you can see price falls or reduces, and quantity also falls. Because quantity is going to the left. If it's going to the left, it means it falls. If it's going to the right, it means it increases. All right, now for our second diagram, we are going to assume that the decrease in supply is greater than the decrease in demand. So decrease in supply is greater than the decrease in demand. All right, so now if you assume that the decrease in supply is greater than the decrease in demand, so now we draw our y and x axis. So this is our price, this is our quantity, and we draw our x, this is our demand, this is our supply, then this is our equilibrium. Then draw short dashes, this is our Q0, then draw short dashes from the E0 again, this is our P0. Then now we are seeing the decrease in supply is greater than the decrease in demand. So now the decrease in supply has to be great. The line in between has to be big. You get it? So it's going to come somewhere here. Then this will be our S1. Then now there's also a decrease in demand. It has to come somewhere here, but it has to be smaller. Do you get it? So this is our D1. Then where S1 and D1 intersect, that's our new equilibrium. So E1. Then draw short dashes to touch the quantity line. Then this would be our Q1. Then we also draw short dashes to touch the price line. This would be our P1. So for the quantity, it's moving to the left. From Q0 to Q1 is going to the left. Then from P0 to P1 is going to the top. So for our conclusion, we can say that price increases and quantity falls. And quantity, since it's going to the left, it falls or decreases. All right. Then now we go to our third diagram where we assume that they both have equal impacts. Let me do it here. So third diagram. Equal impacts. All right. So as usual, we draw our y and x axis. Then our y axis is our price. Our x axis is our quantity. Then we draw our x. So this is D0, then S0, our demand and supply. And where they intersect is the equilibrium, so E0. Then draw short dashes from E0 to touch the quantity line and label it Q0. Then draw short dashes from E0 to touch the price line, label it P0. Then now we are seeing that they both have equal impact. So the decrease in demand and decrease in supply have equal impact. So let's start with the decrease in demand. So we draw it somewhere here. Label it D1. Then the decrease in supply, you have to make sure that the line in between them are the same or almost the same, since we assume that they have equal impact. So it should be somewhere here. So this would be S1. You get it? So S1 and D1 intersect somewhere here. D1, S1, you get it? Then we draw short dashes from, so here will be our E1. So from where S1 and D1 intersect, that's our E1. Then we draw short dashes from the E1, touch the quantity line, then that would be our Q1. You also draw short dashes from E1, touch the price line. The price will be at the same place. So for Q0 to Q1, it moves to the left. So it tells you that quantity reduces and the price remains the same. So for the conclusion, let me write the conclusion here. So this is the conclusion for the third diagram. So you can see that price remains the same, but quantity reduces and quantity falls or reduces. Do you get it? So this is how we draw for the three diagrams. Yes. So we are done with the E, and you're also done with question 1 as well. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.